So this gaming PC from Costco is on sale for just under $1,000, $850 to be exact. And after my personal PC that I built a couple years ago kicked the bucket, I was debating between building another computer, but then it ended up costing $960 for an Intel-based NVIDIA GPU. Same exact one like this one, 4060, but this one has 32 gigabytes of RAM, and for $850, this already pre-made desktop is more than capable to play some very common popular games. And since this is Costco, we do get like, what, 2 years of free warranty, as it includes like this warranty card on top. So let's go ahead and unbox it and see what else it has, because its specs is pretty impressive. Oh, real quick, I know I'm gonna get asked this a lot. This box cutter has a mag release. Try not to cut myself, and you simply just insert and you have access to your blade. It's pretty interesting. I have this linked in the description for those that are curious. So this is a 4060 GTX with an Intel base i5 with 32 gigabytes of RAM. So I want to say this is dual channeled, but we'll see. They do provide the peripherals that needed to get started immediately, a mouse and keyboard, which will be swapped out with something better, of course. Let me set this down so I can pull it up. And here's the lovely tower. Let's take out this foam. So this is a CyberPowerPC pre-build. And what I like to know is what kind of components is it using? Because I hardly doubt everything is truly cyber powered. Get this keyboard out of the way. Peel off this satisfying tempered glass protector. And let's open up this bad boy. Taking off the airbag. Here it is. GPU is not sagging, which is great. And it is a GeForce RTX 460, 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which is the most common one for these budget-based gaming desktop computers. But again, it has more than enough power than what everyday user technically will need it for. On top, we do have dust guards, which are just held on magnetically. And taking a look at the I/O ports, that was not supposed to come off. Wi-Fi antennas, 2 USB-A ports, HDMI, USB-C, Ethernet port, and your common audio and input for microphones and such. And graphics is vertical, but the power supply is a mystery, which I do want to open up and see what we have in there. And the I/O ports on top, we do have USB-C and 2 USB-As, as well as additional buttons. I'm sure one of these is the RGB light switch for the fans. However, the power supply is unmarked, but we'll take that out in a little bit. I do want to open up this side and see how the rest of the wire management looks like. Oh, wire management isn't too bad. Look at that. I'm quite impressed with the wire management. Everything is nice and flush and properly zip tied. I don't see any loose connectors anywhere. Everything is in place where it should be. And then they also throw in this goodie bag because this does have built-in Wi-Fi, which means we do have 2 Wi-Fi antennas that we could probably connect and hook up to the motherboard. So for $850, I'm genuinely impressed. This is basically the equivalent to like the PlayStation 5 Pro, just as a Windows computer. You can do a lot more. So I really do like the fact they're using full-size towers, which gives you plenty of leverage to like do other stuff, add some knickknacks on the inside if that's more up your alley. I like the freedom that they're giving us right here. And if we slide this over and get the power supply out of here, let's see what we're working with. So right here, we actually have a 600 watt 80 Gold Plus from Apebia, which is quite impressive. It's not like a really crappy low end PSU was the performance, but luckily for us, our friends over at Cooler Master sent us their power supply, which happens to be also gold rated, but it's an 850 watt. And this is their GT 3rd generation, or GT3 for short, which I'm gonna go ahead and probably swap it out with a much better, more reliable one, just for that peace of mind. With the money that we're saving, it doesn't hurt to upgrade it with something more reliable and better looking as well. And the thing I love about these is that it's modular versus the thing that it came with is not modular. So we have to reroute everything, which we have time for. It even has a little dust catcher right here for the power supply. All right, with all this practically assembled, let's see how the LED lights look. That is nice. And using a clear plastic computer was wrapped with. This is an exhaust fan. These are intakes. Yep, all three of these are in tanks. This is an exhaust, so it has some good ventilation going on. The CPU cooler is nice and quiet. And for you guys to hear for yourself how quiet the CPU is, take a listen. Quite nice. Let's go ahead and hook it up and play some games on it and see how the numbers stack up. And here are those numbers. So using Cinebench 2024, we now have the ability to actually benchmark the GPU. And the numbers we received was 10,369, which is really impressive for its base entry-level GPU for the 460. But when it comes to the CPU multi-core, it got 853, which is not really that great. And then the single core numbers were 105. And then I wanted to make sure these numbers were correct. And then the next one was 104. So pretty accurate with an MP ratio of 8.12. In other words, this could do computer stuff, Excel, docs, just fine. And for like graphic designing and stuff, make sure you are utilizing the GPU for those graphic renders, which is expected. But playing some games, everything from Apex, Fortnite, and of course, a modern day intense graphics games, which is Cyberpunk 2077 for both 1080p and 1440p. These were the numbers. For Cyberpunk in ultra settings and 1080p, this thing was able to easily be running at 90 FPS, no problem. Apex, easily going over 190s without any issues on 1080p. But then when we upscale everything to a high resolution monitor, 1440p, you can pause it right here, you can take a look at this graph. This is where we do see these numbers crunch a little bit. But they're all very much playable. Fortnite had no issues constantly running at 60 FPS while gaming. Just for Cyberpunk, I had a lower resolution to high to at least be still somewhat above 50 FPS, but my average gameplay experience was 54. But realistically, for single player games, 30, typically what modern day consoles is able to do. The everyday user, gamer, will be perfectly fine with these numbers. And then temperature wise, at max loads, after doing all these benchmark performance, the max temperature we were seeing on the CPU cores were 80 Celsius. And for GPU, 62. So this entire fan system that it has going on right here provides a lot of nice airflow to maintain a nice, cool, happy temperature. If we were trying to build this computer and pay for everything out of pocket, see how much we are saving, well, these were the results right here. So the motherboard happens to be the B760MC, which on Amazon sells for $140, with the RTX Gigabit GPU. Right now you can buy it on Amazon for $300. With the NVIDIA i5 14400F, currently sells for $155. And since I couldn't find its exact CPU cooler, I substituted with the Cooler Master 212. And for RAM, these two sticks, I was able to find them for $85. And I'm not sure what kind of 2 terabyte drive this is, but the closest one I was able to find that matches that gold plating on the side, the 800 Legend, is $120. May just be the newer version. And then this ATX tower, I wasn't able to find the exact model of this one, but I found one that's pretty close, and that's $75. And then with the gold rated 600 watt power supply that's not modular, I was able to find one similar to this one for $60. And was all that in total, not including the Windows OS, came out to be a grand total of $965. That is about $100 difference in saving. Again, numbers could always fluctuate, as PC components typically do, especially during like the holidays or after the holidays. But that's a nice rough estimate that there is indeed a clear savings when it comes to going with the Costco one. Let me put the glass back on this now, which honestly is not a bad price. Again, this includes the operating system. If we build it on ourselves, this build would have cost us a little over $1,000 if you include taxes. So with all that testing and all this data that we discovered, it's a pretty solid build. For the everyday user, gamer, who doesn't want to spend a lot of money, but they want to be able to enjoy like modern day AAA title games without the headaches. And since the wire management out of the box was actually quite impressive, everything was plugged in properly, built wise, it's a solid build. Looked like somebody actually took care in building these during the assembly process. Your result may vary, of course. It's an amazing PC, especially if you're gaming on something like a 1080p monitor. This is more than enough than what you'll ever need. Well over 60 FPS without any issues. But when you attach it to a higher resolution monitor, like a 1440p, I think a 1440p is where this computer will be fine. But anything more, you'll see a noticeable decrease in FPS rate, but nowhere below like 10 or 20. I hooked it up to a 4K monitor and it was still playable. It was struggling to get to 30, but if you are FPS focused, and yeah, that's when I will strongly suggest looking for a different route. Maybe look for a built computer that has a 4070 or 4080 GTX. Other than that, there you guys have it. Let me know in the comment section if you decided to go in with the Costco one, or if you found a better deal out there that you'd like to share with everybody else. Feel free to comment down below. Maybe I'll go ahead and take a look at it and make a follow-up video and see how well that computer performs. If you enjoyed this type of style of video, feel free to leave this video a like and let me know, because I'm currently experimenting and this was actually quite fun to do. So be sure to leave a like and get subscribed, and I'll go from there and see if there's a demand for these type of overview videos. Thank you so much for watching.